You got anyone, Heidi? Will this work up there? You got a couple people maybe, right? But they probably don't have it anymore because we're going to crush the fossil fuel industry with this new guy.
From what I've learned, though, $1 billion is exempt from the first billion or $4 billion. So
you're fine.
This wouldn't affect anyone from North Dakota. But, you know, Joe, this kind of covers up the real problem, which is, you know, during the pandemic, the 10 days or the 10 months of the pandemic, 660 billionaires actually got 1.1 trillion increase in wealth. Their wealth is now over $4 trillion, which is, in fact, 2/3 higher than the bottom half of this country. And so, you know, it was really hard for me to feel sympathetic toward Bezos as Robert was running through, you know, we're buying this house, we're living here, we're remodeling $40 million house in D.C. I mean, people hear that, and what do you expect people are going to do?
Right. Well, who do you blame for that, Heidi? I mean, you got the Fed at zero. They own assets, and you don't want a stock market that go. That's not going to help anyone. You want to bring everybody down and have the stock market go down, and so they don't. So would it be better if they didn't have that? If they didn't make that money, would you prefer that?
At the same point, everybody's grousing about a $15 minimum wage, which is less than $35,000 a year.
Right.
And so, you know, you've got to put it in the context of what's going on in this country with the growing gap in wealth disparity.
Heidi, that's all perception, because you know that there are those that argue that that higher minimum wage in different parts of the country would just make sure that new, you know, college kids or people entering the workforce don't have any job. You know that. It's not just a simple apples to apples.
Shown over and over again, Joe, that the $15 minimum wage.
The CBO said you'd lose 1.7 million jobs. What do you mean you don't care what the CBO? Okay, let me get to Judd. Judd, are you ready for 15? You ready for $15? I can't believe it. You think in North Dakota you're not going to hurt small businesses during a pandemic if you go to $15 an hour?
You know, the minimum wage probably is over $15 right now in North Dakota.
Right. So then why do you need to have a wage control then if it's already?
And care $15 if people are already there.
All right. Judd, what do you think?
Well, I think relative to Washington State, if you elect a socialist government, you get socialism. I mean, that's pretty simple fact. We'd love to have Bezos come to New Hampshire. We don't have a sales tax, we don't have an income tax, and we don't have an estate tax. So it's a good place for a lot of people to come to if they've been successful and they've created jobs like Bezos has and like Gates have. They've created hundreds of thousands of jobs between them and generated a lot of economic growth for our nation and kept us competitive internationally, which is something people overlook at what these folks have accomplished when they go after them with their antitrust daggers, as they're doing in Washington today. As to the $15 wage, that should be a state decision. Each state has a different economic climate. In New Hampshire, we have a very high per capita income, highest in the country. But we have a lot of folks working in the food and beverage industry, in the ski industry. $15 an hour is something that is going to probably put those industries in some stress, depending on the size of the mom and pop restaurant or the small ski area. So it should be a state issue. It shouldn't be a national one brush fits all. And it certainly doesn't fit under reconciliation under our new budget chairman, who happens to be a socialist.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.